I now invite, in the meantime, Mr. Rajesh Singh. He is Assistant General Manager at Triveni Engineering Industries, Kathauli. He, in fact, looks after all 3-4 sugar mills in the vicinity of Kathauli. Has done very important work, particularly on molasses, made many presentations during annual convention also. So his presentation is importance of B and C heavy molasses quality in ethanol production. Mr. Rajesh.
Thank you, STI and Mark Lab for giving me this opportunity to present my work and view on this very important topic. So my topic is importance of B heavy and C heavy molasses characteristics in ethanol production. In this presentation, I have tried to cover the importance of various parameters that may affect the production of ethanol or on a whole the working of a distillery. So before coming to my main presentation, let me go through quickly on ethanol and molasses. We all know that ethanol is a volatile, flammable, clear and colorless liquid. It is a good solvent and it may be used as a germicide, beverage, anti-freezing agent, fuel, depressant and chemical intermediate. And this is very easily made by fermentation process of materials containing sugar or for the compound which can be converted to sugar. Yeast is the enzyme used to produce from fermentation process of sugar containing material. These are some physical and chemical properties of ethanol. Its molecular formula is C2H5OH. All must be aware of it. And it is produced by the hydrolysis of sucrose by using invertage enzyme. And produced glucose is converted into ethanol by zymase enzyme. These are the three major feedstocks that are used for producing ethanol. One is sugar-based, and sugarcane, sugar beet, molasses, cane juice, and syrup all comes under this category. Ethanol can also be produced from starchy materials like wheat, corn, and barley. And third one is lignocellulosic material like wood, straw, bagasse, rice, etc. So among all these three feedstocks, most popular way of producing ethanol is sugar-based feedstock because sugar in it can be easily fermentable and it can be an ideal substrate for ethanol production by direct fermentation. And moreover, it is most cost effective among all these three feedstock categories. So molasses is generally used because it has very various salts and nitrogen in it is also nitrogen in it can also be used for actual process of yeast cell. It contains 40 to 50% fermentable sugar. Normally, three types of molasses are produced in a sugar factory. And depending on their boiling, they are classified as A heavy, B heavy, and C heavy. So all sugar people must be knowing that molasses produced after crystallization, first crystallization is A heavy, and second basket is made from this molasses, and after separating sugar from it, B heavy is obtained, and final molasses is a very familiar term. It is C heavy molasses. It is nothing but the molasses obtained from the separation of molasses from C basket. So these are the three molasses normally used, and most popularly B heavy and C heavy are mostly used. Molasses is having a pH of in the range of 5.5 to 7.5. depending on the process from which it is produced. It has high osmotic pressure and high osmotic pressure of molasses protected from microbial spoilage. It is easy to transport molasses through tankers and it can be pumped easily also. So these properties make suitable for molasses suitable for ethanol production. BIS has also classified molasses depending on its TRS content, sulfated S content, and Brix content in 3 categories. So first grade molasses contains 50% TRS. It contains maximum 14% sulfated S per 100 Brix and minimum 85 Brix at 27.5 degrees centigrade. Second grade molasses is of 44% TRS. Maximum sulfated S in second grade is 17.5 per 100 Brix, and Brix should be minimum 80 at 27.5 degrees centigrade. Third category is of molasses having TRS in range of 40 to 44.
Rajesh, yes.
Sir. So, in next slide, sir.
May okay, go ahead.
Sir.
Go ahead.
So, we can see that there are 3 type of molasses that can be used for production of molasses: A heavy, B heavy, and C heavy. And government is striving very hard for increasing the production of ethanol through various routes, but industry was not interested earlier because of not getting any extra price for ethanol produced from different route and for sacrificing any sugar on this account. But recently, Government of India has given some extra prices, differential prices for ethanol produced from different route. And for ethanol supply year 2021, they have increased the rate of ethanol produced from C heavy by 4.4% at the rate of 45.69 rupees. For B heavy, they have given an increase of 6.2% at the rate of 57.61 rupees. And for higher grade molasses or from sugar, syrup, etc., they have increased the rate by 5.3% at the rate of 62.65%. But most of the industry units are adopting B heavy routes because in this route, we can sacrifice approximately 25% sugar and there will be 100% more ethanol will be available from this route. So in this slide, we can see how much B heavy and C heavy can be produced in a sugar unit. So depending on process, it may be C heavy molasses may be in the range of 3 to 4.5%. In refined sugar process of phosphotation process and 4.5 to 5.5% in sulfitation process. The quantity of B heavy is in range of 5.5 to 7.5% sulfitation unit and 4.75 to 6.0% in raw sugar production unit. Again, we know that quantity of any type of molasses produced is detected by the amount of non-sugar present in raw juice entering in process and production, addition or elimination of raw sugar, this RS in clarification. So some additional non-sugar may also be formed by degradation. In next slide, we can see the 2 main characteristics of B heavy and C molasses, and these are sugar content and non-sugar content. So sucrose content of any molasses is dictated by the efficiency of exhaustion in the factory. The more exhaustion, there will be less sugar. And the area and time of year of harvest dictates the non-sugar component. If we harvest less mature cane, definitely there will be higher quantity of non-sugar and molasses produce will be more. It has also been documented that in cane sugar, RS is higher as compared to beet sugar, and sucrose content is also lower. Now I am coming to main part of my presentation, and in this part I have compiled various parameters that may affect ethanol production, and I am coming one by one in these slides. So Brix is the most important part along with TRS. So high Brix of molasses restrict yeast mobility. Sugar concentration is also low with higher Brix. Solids increases with higher Brix, and slope duration is also more with higher Brix. With low Brix, yeast work properly, and it also again depend on the sugar concentration. There, the solid will be low with the low Brix, and alcohol production of low Brix molasses will also depend on sugar concentration. This is the most important parameter of any molasses, and molasses is mostly traded on the basis of TRS value. So if TRS is high, alcohol production will obviously be higher, recovery will be higher, solids will be low, slope generation will also be lower, chemical consumption will be reduced, effluent generation will also be reduced, and less steam will be consumed in production of ethanol. With low TRS molasses, there will be low ethanol production, slope generation will be high, recovery will be low, alcohol production will be low, steam consumption and chemical consumption will be high. Unfermentable sugar. With high unfermentable sugar molasses, fermentable sugar will be low, alcohol production will be low, recovery will be low, high unfermentable solid will be there, slope generation will be higher. With low unfermentable sugar, production will be higher because fermentable sugar will increase. Recovery will increase, solids will be less, and there will be less slope generation with low unfermentable sugar. With fermentable sugar, that I have also given that it is good for fermentation process. It is consumed by yeast cell, and it is directly proportional to fermenter efficiency. Total solids, if solids are high, slope generation will be high, alcohol production will be low, setup of fermentation goes up, goes high, and when total solids will be low, slope generation will be low, setup of fermentation low. With higher total TSS or total suspended solids can be trapped by filter paper. High TSS molasses produce more sludge, and we all know that sludge may interfere in production of ethanol, and this can also affect the working of this incinerator boiler that I will explain in coming slide. This can affect the motion of itself also. Total dissolved solid, it denotes the inorganic salt and organic matter present in the molasses. Next is sulfated H in the molasses. Sulfated H depends on non-volatile inorganic impurity in molasses, and high amount of sulfated H or inorganic impurity affect the growth and viability of yeast cell. Then there are some non-organic H component in molasses, and these are due to inorganic content, and these are not good for yeast health. Calcium is also important characteristic of molasses, and it reduces cell growth and viability. Sludge content of molasses. Mostly the sludge is higher in the sugarcane molasses when sugarcane, more sugarcane is comes from low-lying areas. High sludge production have harmful effect on yeast propagation, clumping in yeast cell arises, slope generation increases, and working of incinerator boiler also decreases because downtime increases because of scaling in boiler tubes. Now, specific gravity of raw molasses. Specific gravity depends on sugar content and the solid present in it. High specific gravity means high solid content. Setup of fermenter goes high due to high specific gravity. With the high specific gravity molasses, yeast does not work properly and it may affect production of ethanol. pH of molasses, normally pH is in the range of 5.5 and 4.5 to 5.5 pH is considered good for alcoholic fermentation and yeast activity. High pH of molasses increases acid formation such as acetic acid and lactic acid. These acids are formed and they may prohibit the growth of yeast. Total volatile acids denotes the contamination of molasses. High total volatile acids affect fermentation efficiency. High TVA reduces yeast activity. And last important parameter is total bacterial count in molasses. So with the molasses with a high bacterial count directly affect fermentation efficiency. More acids will be produced with a higher total bacterial count. And this also affect the activity of yeast. This is the comparison of a real working of a distillery with 5 type of molasses. 2 type, type means 5 characteristics, 5 parameters of C heavy and B heavy. I have taken 2 type of B heavy. One is of 42 TRS and another is 44 TRS. And there are 3 type of B heavy, 52 TRS B heavy, 55 TRS B heavy, and 59 TRS B heavy. So we can see in this slide that unfermentable sugar increases with the lower TRS value and decreases with the higher TRS value. Fermentable sugar increases. Alcohol production also increases with the increase of fermentable sugar and a higher TRS value. Recovery also increases. We can see that with 42 TRS molasses, recovery is 21%, whereas with 59 TRS molasses, recovery is approximately 33. We can say that to produce 100 ton molasses, the molasses molasses required will be 469 with case of 42, and for 59 with TRS, less molasses is required. Only we can produce this much ethanol with 306 ton of molasses. Spent generation is also low with high TRS molasses, and this also reduces the load of effluent load of a distillery. Similarly, I have compared bricks of molasses, and we can see that a higher bricks of molasses is not good for this fermentation process. So this was the major characteristics of C heavy and B heavy molasses that affect our ethanol production. And now I am coming to analytical techniques available or used in sugar industry. Mostly these are the parameters that we use in sugar industry. pH is measured by pH meter. Dissolved solids are measured by Brix-hydrometer or refractometer or by Backuman. Here we can see that refractometer overestimate true solids by 2%, and by vacuum oven drying, we get 2.5% less result as compared to RDS. Then pole is measured by polarimeter, and this pole is measured for not for distillery. This is for assessing the losses taking place in sugar manufacturing. And ICAMSA has given a method. Madam and Mark Lab has presented in earlier presentation, so I will not elaborate on that. This method gives underestimated loss in molasses. Then sucrose, there is sucrose method. It has also been described. TRS, this is the most important criteria. So I am not going through methods. Methods have been described. RS and next is GC. So we can see, we have seen that in earlier presentations also that GC provides a more accurate measurement of sucrose, glucose, fructose, and fermentable sugar in molasses. But this is not popular in sugar. But considering the importance of various characteristics that we have seen in this presentation, we may upgrade our technical techniques, analytical techniques, and we may incorporate new techniques like gas chromatography in our analysis, day-to-day analysis, so that any controversy between sugar and distillery can be avoided, and we may increase the efficiency of sugar as well as of distillery. So finally, I am thankful to my CMD, Mr. Tarun Sani, for allowing me to prepare and present this paper. My thanks are also due to Dr. Mrs. Keskar for inviting me to share my views. And I am also thankful to STI for providing me this preferred for witness in this paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. Thank you very much.
Which molasses is better for distillery having same TRS and unfermentable from DS? And this is some anonymous attendee. From DS process or DMP process. So, in my opinion, both molasses are good because TRS is more important for distillation. And as far as unfermentable sugar is concerned, unfermentable sugar are less in this DMP process.
Okay, sir. And sir, there is one question regarding that is what is unfermentable sugar? You would like to
yes, unfermentable sugar, I think Dr. Sai Keskar has also already explained that any sugar that is reducing copper but not taking part in fermentation process is unfermentable sugar.
Okay, sir. And sir, one last question: is there any other sugar present in molasses that other than sucrose, fructose, or glucose?
Unfermentable sugar. What is the source of fermentable sugar? One more question I am seeing.
Yeah, you can answer that, sir.
Unfermentable sugar is in process. I can describe that unfermentable sugar is a Maillard reaction takes place in molasses in during processing and during storage of molasses also. And this Maillard reaction is also one of the source of unfermentable sugar. And we add sugar and as well as in distillery, as a distillery may take some proactive actions during storage of molasses to avoid this Maillard reaction, so that unfermentable sugar will be less. Okay. And that is not a part of the presentation. We can refer literature. A lot of things are here.
Okay, and then the last question is any other sugar present in molasses that is other than sucrose, fructose, and glucose?
What is the method adopted in Triveni for sludge determination? So actually, this is a question from K. Jagdish sir. Sir, in Triveni, sludge is determined in distillery. We do not determine sludge in the sugar. I think Mr. Ashish Tandon is here in this seminar. He can answer how they are measuring sludge. And what is the role of sludge percentage in molasses on ethanol production? That I have given. Apart from cane quality, what are the factors it may process related condition responsible for increase of sludge content? K. Jagdish sir, can I give the answer of these questions on your mail?
Yeah, sir. Okay. You can send him on the mail, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh. Now,
thank you, sir.
For an excellent presentation.
Thank you, sir.